In your opinion, there's no conclusion that could be drawn in this particular case.
No, there was no scientific evidence of a cause of death.
Chad Daybell's attorney called 5 witnesses during his murder trial today, including a forensic pathologist who testified about Chad's first wife's death.
Chad is on trial for allegedly murdering his wife Tammy and 2 of his current wife's children, Vallow and Tylee Ryan. Our Morgan Romero was in court earlier today and joins us now. Morgan, what are the main takeaways from this?
Yeah, it wasn't as eventful as it was yesterday, and certainly not as many people in the courtroom today, but Chad Daybell's son-in-law, Joseph Murray, was back on the stand to start the day, finishing his testimony from yesterday. He did get a little bit testy with prosecutors when talking specifically about law enforcement's investigation into the Daybells. Chad's defense attorney, John Pryor, called the forensic pathologist he hired to help with his investigation. You heard from her, Dr. Kathy Raven. She reviewed Tammy's autopsy report and what she called other pertinent materials. After reviewing scientific evidence, she classified Tammy's cause of death as undetermined rather than homicide by asphyxiation, as the Utah Medical Examiner's Office determined after exhuming Tammy's body.
Is it standard practice when there's no signs and there's no indication of what could have caused the death to take a jump to asphyxia? Is that what would be the common practice?
In my opinion, no. The way I practice and the way I've always taught people to practice in the institutions I've been associated with, again, we would call them undetermined. It's not, we do get cases where we don't find anything. We don't jump to conclusions or speculate. We just say these are things that might have happened. We don't know, so we're better left calling it undetermined.
I want to talk to you about a little bit of a term in terms of your profession. The term is called confirmatory bias. Are you familiar with that term?
It's kind of a bias. It's not just looking at the scientific evidence in front of you, but you're being biased by other things.
So if someone were to say that they put the procedural history and some of the events that occurred around the time of Tammy Daybell's death, that would be an example of confirmatory bias. Would that be fair?
Possibly. Depends what was told them. Possibly, okay. Yes.
The prosecution pointed out Dr. Raven did not review the laundry list of reports and interviews that the Utah Medical Examiners reviewed to make their findings. Dr. Raven only reviewed what the defense provided her. Pryor also called one of the Daybell's neighbors, Regan Price, who testified about hearing a gunshot in 2019. She was asked if that was on September 9th of 2019, the day police believed Tylee was killed, but she didn't remember. An investigator with the Attorney General's office told jurors about a lengthy interview with Chad and Lori's friend, Melanie Gibb, where she rated him as very light and testified that she never consulted Chad for that rating. Now, other witnesses, including Gibb, have testified throughout trial that Chad is the one who would determine people as light and dark. Pryor then called retired Rexburg police detective or officer Rick Schmidt. He said the FBI did not give him boundaries to search on Chad's property the day the children were found buried there. Court did get out a couple hours early today due to witnesses' schedules. Pryor plans to call more expert witnesses tomorrow. And coming up later on the news at 6, you're going to hear from Tammy Daybell's aunt, Vicki Hoban. She talks about her reaction to the witnesses' testimony so far this week while the defense presents his case, including her own family members. So tough week for her, for sure.
It is fascinating, too, after we went through the Lori Vallow Daybell trial to now see new evidence and kind of get different perspectives on the whole story.
We're learning so much more about Tammy's death, right? Because Lori was only charged and convicted of conspiracy, and Chad is charged with murdering Tammy. So we're learning a lot more. We're hearing the defense actually put on a case, call their own witnesses. We don't know how many more they call. They plan to call this week, but we are expecting the defense to rest their case this week.
You also said we don't know who's going to make it on the stand.
No, we do know expert witnesses will be called. So those are individuals that aren't just character witnesses, you know, like the children. These are people that potentially DNA experts, you know, other folks like that.
And Morgan will be in the courtroom watching it for us.
I will not.
You will
I'm
not.
Gone after today, but you can, of course, stay posted on our website, ktvb.com, and I assure you we will have a reporter on this story for you.